coming up.
My ranching operation is the guys that work for me. It's not the land, it's not the cattle, it's them.
If we can develop solutions to help care for the animals and care for the people that take care of them, those animals will care for us back.
See how a stocker operation in Oklahoma increases weight quickly and efficiently, next on The American Rancher. Hello, I'm Pam Minnick, and welcome to The American Rancher. Today's episode is brought to you by BioZyme's Gain Smart vitamin and mineral supplement with the Amaferm Advantage. For more than a half a century, BioZyme has offered the cattle industry a complete line of nutritional supplements based on the natural prebiotic Amaferm, which helps intake, digestibility, and absorption. Today, we visit a stocker operation in northern Oklahoma, where BioZyme's Gain Smart is the foundation of profitable performance and healthy calves. Stocker cattle begin at a light weight, but they must gain quickly and efficiently before they're sold to a feedlot.
You know, we kind of consider this God's country. Luckily, Osage County is, we're home to big ranches. We're also close to civilization. This country here has been known as a grass-feeding bonanza. My grandfather started Holcomb Ranch in the early 30s in the Dust Bowl. When my dad got back from the Army, he joined my granddad, and they operated clear through the 80s. And when my granddad passed away, I came back to the ranching operation, and we were operating with my father until we sold the family ranch in the mid-90s.
I grew up on a family farm in southwest Oklahoma, Hollis, Oklahoma. We ran cow-calf stockers. Scott and I got acquainted about 2010. Originally, I bought cattle from him and sold them to the feed yards, and then we partnered together on a ranch. That's kind of started our partnership here between WTW Inc. and Holcomb Ranches.
My first conversation with Randy Heflin was as we pinned a bunch of steers going across the highway, and he was calling me trying to buy some steers of mine. We've actually come from different parts of the industry. He came from the packer, procurement, livestock end. I've come from the bottom end. I was raised as a stocker operator. The cost of land, the availability of good grazing land, that's always a problem. And you just got to build relationships and be able to develop relationships to be able to operate on other different ranches with other ranchers.
We started WTW Inc., which is our family corporation with my wife and family. WTW's kind of got three revenue streams. The order buying we still do some of, and we've also increased the cattle feeding portion as another revenue stream, and then with our stocker outside grazing program is another facet that we rely on. Stocker cattle we buy at about 500 pounds right off the cow. We wean them out on our ranches, and then we usually run them either on grass programs or wheat programs and take them to about 850 to 900 pounds. Once they reach their 850 or 900 pounds, we usually sell them, or if economics are right, we'll retain them and take them to the feed yard. We also buy cattle out of the southeast that are our conventional cattle. The last 2 years we have incorporated cattle that come out of the north, such as Wyoming, Nebraska, Colorado. Those are the program all-natural cattle that we have incorporated that kind of helps diversify our program. All of our cattle come off of ranches, directly from the ranches. We don't buy cattle through the auctions that are higher risk. We know the background on the cattle. We know the vaccination history. We know their breeding program. Several ranches we have bought cattle from for 7 or 8 years that we know their performance, and so we've got a predictability with them.
The cattle do well. It's almost more conducive to a stocker operation than it is a cow-calf, just because of the quality of the grass. I grew up in this business, and I like to deal with a chaotic environment. I don't like to have routine.
One of the things I've enjoyed most about the cattle business is that it's allowed me to travel from coast to coast and border to border, meeting people, buying cattle off of different ranches, and providing for my family. Hopefully WTWE continues with the next generation of one or some of my boys, and also some of the grandkids have shown interest, and hopefully they enjoy the passion that I've had. The people make the enjoyment. The people are the drive.
I'm proud of my operation and the guys that work for me. I will tell everybody that works for me, I got the best crew around, and that goes to showing. We talk about the land and everything. My ranching operation is the guys that work for me. It's not the land, it's not the cattle, it's them. And I couldn't be doing it without them, and that's what makes it fun for me. I can go out there, even on a bad day, I'm better off than 99% of the people in this world. That's the way I look at it.
After the break,
I would recommend Gain Smart because of the performance that we've had with the cattle slicking off and getting rid of their hair quicker in the spring.
see how BioZyme's Gain Smart products fit Randy and Scott's operation and bring their buyers the quality they need. That's after the break here on The American Rancher. Welcome back to The American Rancher. Randy and Scott at Holcomb Ranch in Oklahoma chose BioZyme's Gain Smart Vitamin and Mineral for their stocker cattle. The northern Oklahoma climate swings wildly, and with Gain Smart, their cattle almost double their weight in the forage that's available to them under all climate conditions and as comfortably as possible. Here's how they use the feeding program.
We're at an intersection of 3 different climatic zones. We can bring the southern grasses in, like Bermuda, eastern grasses, ryegrass. We can grow ryegrass here and clovers, and bring in the northern grasses, fescue belt. And also we have a tremendous base of our tallgrass prairie. So we're kind of at the southern extension of the Flint Hills. We can bring cattle from the south, and they're just so acclimated to this country, but when we finish and ready to market, they can go right into the feeding belt.
The demand for NHTC, Verified Natural, and GAP has grown, and we've gotten up to about 10 to 12,000 head per year in that program. When we started feeding or grazing the program cattle, the all-natural cattle, we became aware of Gain Smart. Would keep the cattle natural, and also it contained Amaferm, which helped our conversions of the forages that we had that would help with our stocking rate and our daily gain.
Gain Smart in the heat definitely helps keep the mineral nutrition up in a drought regime. And that's the main thing. We got to keep the health up in the cattle, and mineral is something a lot of people really cut corners in, and you really can't cut corners in the mineral. Well, in a drought year, your minerals are even more important than normal because your grass is going to be very deficient in any kind of minerals. And we can see that when you buy cattle out of a drought area, you have health issues because they are mineral deficient. So it's important for us to keep the mineral out. We can get in a dry year like this, our gains are not suffering as much as you might think they would be.
The value-added programs that we look at is like VitaFerm Raised and also VitaFerm Gain Smart. And we know the history that those cattle have had with a mineral program, which enhances their performance once we get them on the ranch.
Mineral supplementation is an important part of our program because that's where the Gain Smart comes in, because of our feed program we use a lot of byproducts. It's very deficient in a lot of the mineral needs. We raise a lot of replacement heifers and sell them into the market, but we also have to have a great mineral supplementation program for those heifers also.
We're also able to get the packing house data on the cattle we retain that shows the percent of prime and choice that is directly correlated to the grid premium we receive back. By knowing this information, this encourages us to be selective on our procurement on the origin of the cattle, the ranch they come off of, and also our animal husbandry that we use as far as like Gain Smart, our vaccination program, then the feeding program we get, or the feeding performance that we get at the feed yard also shows the positive results at the packing house.
as these cattle get slicked off. You know, they're starting to get their legs under them. The last 60 days is probably the most important part of the feeding stage on grass. The old timers always say you cannot bring cattle from the north and west into this area and be successful. And so when we got into it last year, we were feeding a Gain Smart. In the last 60 days, those northern cattle just exploded. And when we delivered our first set of steers at the end of August, they were 80 pounds over our base weight. So that became a big exclamation point for Gain Smart, you know, what it can do. I originally started using some heat products on fescue. I've transitioned to, you know, these northern cattle. I think it's more necessary to have them on all of them, even on our blue stem pasture. If it can help the vascular system and go through there and help them shed that hair, because some of those genetics on those northern cattle, the genetics make them propensity to keep their hair, because, you know, that's what they do, but we've got to get that hair off as quick as we can.
I would recommend Gain Smart because of the performance that we've had with the cattle slicking off and getting rid of their hair quicker in the spring, and also by reducing the number of fallout cattle due to foot rot and eye problems.
I mean, it's free choice product, and, you know, our main problem on Gain Smart is them eating their heads off. But, you know, we manage that early in the season, because when the cattle are really eating the mineral heavy, that probably means they're actually gaining a lot. And so that's not a bad sign. We just have to manage that consumption. I think we're going to end up using more and more of Gain Smart product, because I think it's fitting into our mineral supplementation program just very good.
Obviously, Gain Smart is one of the additives that has kept us profitable, that has made our program easier to manage without additional problems.
Up next.
We developed the mineral in mind of how it can best be used by the producer to maintain efficient, healthy, high-performing animals, stay on those programs, and be successful.
Learn how the supplement actually works and find out how it could benefit your operation. We're back with more American Rancher after this. Welcome back to the American Rancher. You've seen how BioZyme's Gain Smart product helps a stalker ranch grow cattle into highly marketable feeders. But is the vitamin and mineral supplement the right one for your operation? Let's take a look at what goes into Gain Smart so you can make an informed decision.
When costs are at all-time highs, it's really imperative to try to maximize the nutritional benefit or the nutritional profile of those forages, so that you can have those cattle maximize their genetic potential and experience the most natural gain possible to put more dollars back in your pocket. Gain Smart's an awesome program or an awesome product to deliver to your cattle at these times, because the Amaferm actually has an improvement of fiber digestion by about 17% on average, and typically the poorer the quality of the forage, the greater magnitude of benefit it has. So it's important, if our forage quality isn't good enough, or it's falling short in terms of energy and protein status, that we stimulate that gut microbiome to help them unlock as much nutrition as they can from within. Then it's fortified with chelated minerals that allow that animal to maintain the proper mineral status for high levels of immunity, as well as hoof health and things that are important for your bottom line.
The Gain Smart brand of mineral basically was developed for the stalker operator on native pasture or the wheat pasture operator that's going to graze wheat pasture. Those minerals were designed based on those forages. They contain chelated copper and zinc and the highest level of organic iodine that you can actually put in a mineral, and it's guaranteed on the label. The reason we put chelated zinc and copper in is that we know that chelated zinc is very highly effective in terms of hoof health, and we know that iodine has some impact on some eyes and some other issues. So we did that from a holistic, natural perspective as well, because Amaferm that's in our products is also a purely natural organic product that can be used in natural programs or organic programs, which help the producers that are on GAP, beef care, and those type badge programs on Superior Livestock. They can use Amaferm. They can maintain that gain in health where there's some traditional products used in our industry that don't qualify for those programs.
The precision prebiotic is called Amaferm. And what Amaferm does is help unlock nutrition from within. And the benefits of Amaferm are well defined in our research, and where it improves digestibility, promotes intake and subsequent absorption of nutrients. And it does so through fungal enzymatic activity, where it extra branching of that fungal microbiome within the rumen to help initiate that digestion process. It stimulates the bacteria in the microbiome that can synergistically work together to not only produce more VFAs at 16%, but also provide a higher level of microbial protein. That's a great amino acid profile for these growing stocker cattle.
Amaferm, we know, helps those animals disperse body heat. We have our Gain Smart Stocker Heat product that incorporates the pepper extract, natural clove and cinnamon oil, garlic for a natural insect repellent, and Amaferm. Amaferm, we know, helps lower core body temperature. And so the key to that in summer grazing is when it's hot outside, we want cattle out of the ponds that you can see behind me today, and we want them out grazing. As you can see, these cattle are out grazing, and we want them out from under the shade trees, because if they're out grazing, what does that mean? More pounds on that animal, more pounds for you to sell.
Those people that have the cattle that not only perform in the backgrounding or growing phases, but as they enter that final stage in the finishing part of the yards, and they perform well for the feedlot producer, it's care that kind of comes full circle. And so it initiates the opportunity for repeat buyers, which we all know is what makes this beef cattle business go around.
The Gain Smart line of products fit into the company tagline, the care that comes full circle, because it's about the animals first and foremost. We want to help our producer produce a healthy, wholesome product for the consumer. We also want them to produce an animal that's going to perform on their operations, that when they sell them on sale day, they have the maximum amount of weight to sell, and that means more money back in their operation for their livelihood, to support their family and send their kids to school like my family did when I grew up.
While ranchers like Randy and Scott have long realized the benefits of BioZyme nutritional products like Gain Smart, what they might not realize is the decades of science behind the products and the committed people who make it happen. At BioZyme's core are people who really care about each other and your livestock. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at how BioZyme is care that comes full circle.
BioZyme is a company that is really taking an innovative approach to improving animal performance naturally. We believe that if we can develop solutions to help care for the animals and care for the people that take care of them, those people and those animals will care for us back.
In the grand scheme of agriculture, I think it's one of the most unique industries out there. We're providing tools for you as a producer to be successful. Regardless of what your goal is from an economic output stance, or regardless of what your environmental impacts may be or your genetic background, we all still have that desire to be profitable. And the fact that we can provide the tools to help customers become profitable is the kind of care that comes back full circle for us, because everybody wins in the scheme of agriculture, which we all know is a very important industry for sustainability of life.
We care about the whole chain. We care about our people. We care about a good working environment. We have to trust each other doing a good job. And we try to be partner of our customers, but partner as well of our distribution partners. So it's a very interesting concept. I have embraced it quite a lot, and I think it is a nice explanation with the boomerang. So you throw something good out and hope that something good comes back for the company.
BioZyme's commitment to not only our people, but our community of people in the livestock industry is second to none. People first get to know BioZyme through some of our outreach, and we do that 100% to try to help our community when we can.
BioZyme is, yes, it's a company, but it's a small company. I like to tell people we're a small company that can do big things. So not only do we care about the animals that we're providing supplementation for as delivery mechanisms for Amaferm, but we also care about the people that raise those livestock. We're concerned about helping them add value to their bottom line or in their operation, make sure that they're sustainable. Being able to stay in business and be viable is part of that sustainability.
That's all the time we have today. To find out more about BioZyme's GainSmart line of products, log on to gainsmart.com. And to find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or connect with us on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Pam Minnick. For our entire American Rancher team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.